You are listening to the Life, Hope, and Leadership podcast with Nick Chybrzynski, a transparent, honest, and encouraging podcast to equip you through real-life experiences.
Yo, what up, everybody? Thank you for jumping in on the Life, Hope, and Leadership podcast with me,
Nick Chybrzynski.
Yep, that's me. Yeah, guys, I have had a crazy day, really good day, awesome stuff. Just got off a call with one of my pastors and friends about our men's ministry stuff that we will be doing together this fall. Pretty exciting stuff. And I got a little behind on the day. So here I am, and I am going live on Facebook today because TikTok booted me on live stream. I don't know if somebody reported me or whatever. So I am on YouTube today and Facebook. And then, as always, this podcast will be available not in video on all streaming platforms. So if you have Apple, Android, whatever, Spotify, make sure that you like and subscribe to my podcast. I hope they're helping you. I don't do them in vain. I do them to, leak the things that I just really feel the Lord speaking to me and some stuff that's going on in the world. And I started doing these as kind of a therapeutic thing, but also at the same point to be able to help people in their walk with God. So I hope they're helping you. If they are, like, share, follow, subscribe. I don't know all the stuff you got to do, but all I want to do is help you. And that being said, let's jump in. So today's episode of Life, Hope, and Leadership is I hate the phrase burnout, because it's kind of like it can easily be a cop out, but it can also be a very stubborn mule's way of avoiding the reality of burnout. And so today I was thinking about we'll call it hitting the wall. I was caring for someone today, just chatting with them and talk to people. And I hear this often where people are like, man, I just feel like I'm hitting a wall. I feel tired. I feel exhausted. And a lot of times when you see it from the outside, there's things you can be like, hey man, I don't like, you can't keep doing that. But it's amazing as leaders. And when I say leader, I want to make sure that you understand everybody is leading. Should be. Everybody should be leading in some capacity. So the reality is you are leading your life. You should be. If you're a mom, a dad, you're leading your kids. You're leading your home. If you're a husband, you should be leading your wife and your children. And if you're a wife, you should be leading and supporting your husband and your kids. And the list goes on. If you're an entrepreneur, business owner, executive, pastor, minister, teacher, blah, 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 everybody's leading in some capacity. And because of that, a lot of times we see ourselves so responsible for everybody else that we lose the visual of taking care of ourselves. And so I talk about this often, but my wife and I practice a principle, which we call 777. So every 7 days, my wife and I, we go on a date. Every 7 weeks, we try to go away overnight. Typically, one of our favorite places to go away overnight is Berlin, Ohio. It's a very peaceful place, Amish town. Great food, very quiet, very peaceful. And then we have every 7 months, and we try to go away on some form of vacation every 7 months. And a lot of people will say, oh yeah, it must be nice. And it's like the people who say that are the people who don't understand that we do that because we value our leadership. We do that because we value our marriage. We do that because we value the principles that God has given us in his word. And so it's not easy to do that. And it's something that we forced ourselves to do. It's something that we obligated ourselves to, because we know that in the principle that God has created for true healthy leadership is there has to be time to rest. There has to be time to recharge. I actually just finished one of my assessments on physical health and Sabbath rest. It's on Amazon. I just released it last night. So excited. It just published today. But in that, I noticed that people hit walls, and it's easy for us to look from the outside in and often be able to see what it is those who we love could do to change the circumstances of their energy, of their resourcefulness, of their impact. But sadly, it's very difficult sometimes to look from the inside in. And so I hope this podcast will help you today. And it really goes, I always think about like Jack from Titanic, and everybody still is frustrated. He could have got on the plank, but he was so focused on leading Rose that he didn't lead himself. And if he would have realized, hey, if I would just slow down long enough to realize, yes, I do have to lead Rose, but it would be better if Rose still had me, he probably would have figured out how to get on that stupid piece of debris in the water. Everybody feels when they're leading at different times that we are running. There's times where you feel you're running on fumes. That you need rest, and you feel guilty for needing that. And I hate that. And I said this before, busyness is not a badge. Busyness is not a trophy, but for some reason in the world we live in, it's like, I swear people wear busyness like a badge. And I hate it because people will tell me all the time, they'll be like, hey man, you hit me up. They're like, oh, I know you're busy. And it's like, well, dude, everybody's busy. We have to take time to check in and to love one another and care for one another. But I want to talk to you about the risk of hitting the wall, constantly hitting the wall. And a lot of people who lead, they say burnout doesn't affect me, but the reality is it does affect you. And it doesn't just affect you. Hitting the wall doesn't just affect you. It affects everybody that you're leading. So if you're going, oh, I just don't have time for me, I have to take care of my kids. Your kids are feeling that. Your wife is feeling that. Your kids are feeling that. Your husband is feeling that. Your team is feeling that. And until we acknowledge that, then we're going to lead, and we're not going to lead well. And today I just simply want to talk about and I don't want to use the word burnout, but I'm going to end up using it because it's the easiest way to explain it. But what is burnout? What is hitting a wall? What is doing too much? It is when you create a sense of emotional exhaustion, and then eventually you'll start to become cynical or critical. This is very dangerous. And then you will begin to feel ineffective. And then feeling ineffective makes you feel exhausted. And then feeling ineffective makes you cynical. And then next thing you know, you're just in a crazy cycle that my wife and I talk about often in marriage ministry stuff. When you are living under chronic stress, the Bible says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, and strength. Love the Lord your God. If anybody's watching this on the chat, put it in the comments. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and strength. I've often talked to people about emotional intelligence. We talk about spiritual intelligence. You hear people often, they'll talk about mental health, and that's great. I think it's important, but people want to talk about mental health and they can't figure out how to get a wrap on mental health, and they neglect the spirit. But Jesus said, my heart for you is that you would prosper as your soul prospers. Well, your soul is your mind, your will, and emotions. So you can't prosper until this stuff is in order. And the Bible says that outside of Christ, your spirit man is dead. So if you have a dead spirit and you're not prospering in Christ, then your mind, your will, and your emotions aren't going to prosper. Then the rest of your life's not going to prosper. It's a very simple dynamic, but what we do is we want to medicate. We want to psychology. And I love psychology. I think it's great. We want to go straight to psychology, straight to medication. And people go, mental health, mental health, mental health. And it's like, dude, mental health has to be inside of a healthy spirit. You can't just have water health. You need to have it in a vessel, and you need to have a clean vessel. So Jesus deals with the spirit man. He deals with the sin and the iniquity of us. And then he gives us the opportunity to have a clean vessel of which we can put our mind, our will, and emotions in, our soul, our thoughts. And then we can start to really sort out what it means to have authentic, healthy mental health. And I want people to have that. A lot of times we're so spiritually Christians, and I'm a pastor, y'all. I love Jesus. I'm Pentecostal. I pray in the Holy Ghost. I got gifts in the Spirit. I believe in the living fruit and power of the Holy Spirit. Okay, so if you're asking, I am. But I think Christians have too often become so super spiritual that we're just like, it's all Jesus, brother. It's all Jesus. And I've heard this in Bible college. I heard it in ministry. I've heard it as a pastor. And it's like, bro, you're not okay. You're not all right. Just because you love Jesus don't mean your mind is right. I say it all the time. I met people with great hearts and terrible minds. We got to love the Lord with all our heart, mind, soul, and strength. So one of the areas we're going to reference a bit in today's podcast is emotional intelligence. And just because you have emotions doesn't mean you're emotionally intelligent. Ask a 5-year-old. Ask a 15-year-old who's going through puberty. Ask a 40-year-old who's going through midlife crisis. You have emotions, but doesn't mean you're emotionally intelligent. And so when you're living under constant stress, your body is flooded with chemicals, cortisol, brain fog. You're missing all the dopamine of success and the feelings of doing great things, all these things we deal with. And so all of a sudden you start to have brain fog, poor decisions, disconnection, and then you're discontent. I made an episode one day, why are we so tired? I walked into a gas station. 75% of the drinks in a gas station today are energy drinks, and then the rest are beer. And it's crazy. What does that tell you? If that doesn't put a red flag up for us to be like, we're tired and stressed. I'm tired, so I drink energy drinks, and I'm stressed, so I drink beer. I know so many people who are living in financial struggle, but they smoke $10 packs of cigarettes. It's like crazy. And we live in these cycles because we don't know how to get out of it. We're constantly keep hitting the wall. And I want you to get this in your heart. I want you to know this. You can stop hitting the wall. When you ignore warning signs of hitting the wall, of fatigue, of exhaustion, of burnout, you are 63% more likely, this is a scientific fact, 63% more likely to have to take an extended sick leave. So you push yourself to the brink because you say you can't rest. You push yourself to the max because you say you don't have time to chill. You push yourself to the max because you say your family needs you, but then you make yourself sick and you're 63% more likely to have to take time off now, and not even quality time. It's not even rest time. It's not even recovery time. It's healing time. And healing time is different than recovery time. If you tear a muscle, if you strain a muscle, you pull a muscle, you can't go back to the gym because you're in healing time. If you stretch a muscle and you learn the limitations of your muscle, now you get into recovery, and 2 days later, you're back in the gym and you're able to work that same muscle out. Am I making sense? We have to stop pushing ourselves to the max. Now, just because you have to stop pushing yourself to the max doesn't mean you can't get crap done. You got to get your crap done. So that means we got to be more efficient. We have to become more intelligent with the game that God has given us, with the cards that God has given us. And I want this for you. So thinking strength, this is where I see a lot of leaders ignore the signs. And this was where I was talking to someone recently. I said, hey, toughing it out is not good for you or anybody. Thinking that I'm strong, so I won't tell anybody, I'm just going to fight through it. That is not good for anybody. Thinking strength means silence is unhealthy. Leaders who isolate themselves from communication or opening up to others will destroy themselves. And especially you will become more and more overloaded. And I don't want that for you. I want you to be able to look at all you have. If you had a child, a 5-year-old, and they had all this stuff that they had to take up to their room, you told them to clean their room up. You told them to clean their mess up. And you're a good father. You're a good big brother. You're a good big sister. You're a good mom, right? You're going to see that little boy, that little girl. They're going to have all these things in their hands. And you're going to tell them, you can take multiple trips. Or how about this? If you'd ask me for help, maybe I could help you. Maybe the principle of being a good leader to get your task done is recognizing those around you who really love you and really want to help you. But you think that being a good leader and being strong, and this is the problem with an adolescent boy. Children, boys, we are the toughest. We rarely tell you we're hurt. I remember watching a video, a little kid jumped off the top of the steps all the way down to the bottom. And you could tell, because every boy, if there's dudes in the chat, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All my fellas, where are you at? All the fellas know this. And I'm not reading chats right now because I want to stay focused on content and timing. But what I've seen was this little kid, he hit the bottom steps and his dad was like, why did you do that? Number 2, that was pretty cool. Number 3, I bet your butt is hurt. And the little boy toughed it off. You know, he acted like he was good. But every boy, every single boy on the face of the earth, every man, young or old, knew that dude was hurt and he was trying to play it off. The problem is you can only play it off so many times before it destroys you. If you're hiding burnout to protect your image, if you're hiding pain to protect your image, if you're masking it under, look, Jesus would be I think, disappointed and would lead you to repentance for ego if you as a Christian try to protect your your image and create a false sense of strength. Jesus himself was not able to carry his own cross. Jesus himself had the disciples baptizing people. Jesus himself had them go feed other people. Jesus himself had to leave the crowd he was leading so he could recharge the leader he needed to be. I saw a quote today. It said, become the type of leader that people want to follow. And I like it, but I honestly think the prayer was, God, help us become the type of leader that people would want to follow. But I think let's go one step further. Let's become the type of leader we would want to follow. Let's become the type of person who's authentic, who knows when we're tired or knows when we need help. I reached out to a couple brothers today and I just was like, hey, I just need some help. I don't even know where to begin on this, and I can't pick it up and take it on myself. It'll burn me out. So to protect your image is never going to help anybody. You're losing the very thing that makes you a good leader, your presence. If you're hiding your burnout, if you're hiding your tiredness, if you're hiding your sin, if you're hiding your weakness, if you're hiding your struggle to protect your leadership image, you're actually losing the very thing that we love about you, which is a healthy you being around. I remember when my mom was sick and it was like, man, I wish I had my healthy mom back. I wish I could go run around with my mom. I wish I could go play with my mom. But the sicker she became, the less present she was able to be. The more you burn yourself out, the less present you will be. God, he said, you are the light of the world. He didn't say you were a shooting star. He doesn't want you to burn out. And so it's important in life. And I want to ask you a couple questions, a little evaluation for hitting the wall. And number one, we're going to talk about a little bit of emotional intelligence in real life. If someone wants to put these in the chat, you can. I appreciate if you're enjoying this. If you feel like it's going to help you, share it, like it, comment, chat with each other in the comments. I'm not going to get in. I don't want to get distracted, but you guys can encourage one another in these videos and in these podcasts. I've never done them on Facebook before, so I'm going to go back. And if you're enjoying it, maybe I'll continue to do them on Facebook, but I didn't want to take away from the podcast platforms. Anyway, let's do some real evaluation. I want you to ask yourself this. Am I becoming sharp with people or short with people? I got ridiculously overwhelmed with poison ivy or something this last couple weeks. And so I'm on a ton of steroids and medicine right now. And I had a frustrating situation today. And I realized that I might have become short. And so I messaged somebody, talking to them, asking, I was kind of frustrated about something. And I expressed that. And then I messaged them later and because I didn't have time to call and they were understanding. And I said, hey, I just want to let you know, I'm sorry if I came across as too harsh. I think my steroids might be causing me to have a little bit of a rage feeling. And so what I was intending might not have come off the right way. And I had to step back and apologize for that because I want to be emotionally intelligent. How do you make your wife feel? How do you make your husband feel? How do you make your friends feel? How do you make your kids feel? How do you make your employees feel? How do you make your boss feel? Am I being sharp or short with people? Here's another question about emotional intelligence. What am I avoiding? Notice the question isn't, am I avoiding something? No, what conversation are you avoiding? What feeling are you avoiding? There's someone I love watching movies with. I'm a big movie buff. I love, going to movies with friends and hanging out. But it's funny because there's certain people I can't go to a sad movie with. If I go, hey, let's watch this movie, I can't watch a sad movie. Why can't you watch a sad movie? It makes me cry. What are you avoiding? Let's cry. Let's go cry. Let's go cry it out. It's okay. So more than likely, there might be, well, possibly, not more than likely, but it's highly possible that there's something that you're avoiding that is keeping you from becoming emotionally intelligent. And let's be honest, until you become more and more emotionally intelligent, you know why you think the way you think. You know how you should think. The Bible says, take captive every thought. So if the Bible commands us to take captive every thought and subject it to the principles and laws of Christ, then we have to ask ourselves, I can't take something captive and evaluate it if I'm not sure how it's supposed to be. And so what am I avoiding? What am I not talking about? How about this question? What do I feel after I say yes to the next thing? So if I have employees that work for me. I'm a pastor of a church and I love them to death. But sometimes I'll be like, hey, can you do this? And they'll go, yeah. And I can look at their face and go, hey, what's up? And they're like, oh, well, I had this. I'm like, well, then no, then don't say yes. Let me know that. That's a part of our relationship. I can't lead you down the path of doom. So what's the deal? I really can't do it. Okay, cool. That's not a problem. What else are you do? Let's talk about what else you're doing. Is there anything you're doing that maybe you shouldn't be? Or am I giving you too much? These are all part of us working together as a body, as a people. This is leadership. And part of being a good leader is being a good follower. And part of being a good follower is being a good leader. So here's another check-in. This is for your weekly check-in. I would love for you, it's like not weekly, but this is like a little self check-in. What has drained you this week? So for me, our door is broken in our sanctuary. That may not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but for me, it's eating away at me. I'm bothered. People can't get in and out of the sanctuary easily. There's 2 doors. We have 300 to 400 people that attend on service. We don't want people to be bottlenecked if there were an emergency. Don't want people to be stuck. So luckily, we have fire escapes. We have emergency escapes. We have access. We have other doors. It's not really a big deal, but it is. It's draining me. There was a lot of changed things. The heat has been draining me. My wife was very, very tired the other day and she felt really bad. Why am I so tired? I said, babe, it's 90 degrees out. You're probably just exhausted. The sun has a way of zapping the strength out of you. What has drained me this week? Itching all over my body. So thank God these are some physical things, but these physical things, when you think you have to be the perfect leader, can weigh on you. And then you don't want to talk about it because you feel weak. Well, no, you know what? I'm really bothered. Have steroids in my body. I'm itchy all over. My back hurts. It's hot out. Okay. Now what's cool is you can complain about it and still be emotionally unintelligent, or you can process it and go, you know what? Those are real things and it's okay. I'm going to get through it. This is for a season. I'm working out. I'm getting healthier. I'm doing things to get this out. I went to the doctor, got the medicine, doing all that stuff. So when you're evaluating what's draining you this week, oh, me and my wife haven't talked, or we haven't been intimate, or I feel like I haven't seen my kids in a few days. Well, thank you that's awesome that you realize that drained you. Because the problem is if you don't recognize what drains you, when you have the opportunity to change it, you won't be able to because you never accepted it. How about this? What gave me life this week? Man, my wife and I, we went to a restaurant this week for date night. It was one of the best restaurants I've been to in a long time. Viva La Vida in Fox Chapel, Mexican restaurant. Phenomenal service. Met a guy from Quiche, Guatemala, which is one of the towns we drive through when we go to our missions work. And it was so awesome to see his eyes light up when we told him we knew where he was from and that it's like our home away from home. That gave me life. Spending time with my wife. She looked so pretty. She was beautiful, man. It was awesome. The food was great. The date was great. We had a great time. That gave me life. How about this? What am I doing that somebody else could own? So today I was going to go work on the door at the church. And then I realized, you know what? That is not my forte. And so I asked some guys to help out and we got a little bit more clarity and probably some next steps. But at the end of the day, what is it that you're doing that somebody else could be doing? And the reality is, even if it's a job, if it's a volunteer, you might be a coach for a softball team or a baseball team. And you're like, oh, I got to get all the balls and all the bats. Well, can anybody else on the team do that? Can you delegate that? Can you train that up? Can you let other people be a part of your coaching team? Well, they're not paid like I am. Do they like you? Do they enjoy being around you? I mean, to me, if carrying some baseball bats to spend time with somebody that I look up to is all I had to do, I would love to do that for them. There are people who love you. There are kids who love you, parents who love you. There are siblings who love you. There are friends who love you and spouses there are people who love you. And when you think you have to do it all, you're actually defeating your leadership opportunity. How about this? Number 4. I hope someone's writing these down. Where am I faking strength? Where am I faking my strength? Think about that. Where are you faking it? That's not good. Now, everybody doesn't need to know your weakness. See, the problem with the world is we have this everybody needs to know bullcrap going on. And so we want to cancel people, Christians, non-Christians. And it's ridiculous. People are, what really happened? What did they do? It's none of your business. It's not your business what everybody's weakness is. Why? Because 100% of people have weaknesses. 100% of people. And you need to find the right people in your life where you can say, hey, dude, I really had a hard day. Hey man, got in a fight with my kids, got in a fight with my wife, man, my car got repossessed. I lost my job, man. I can't pay my bills. It's 100 degrees out. I can't run the AC, whatever it is. You need to find the right people. So where are you faking strength? And this is important. The Bible is very clear about this. Moses was trying to do way too much. He was trying to lead the whole freaking tribe of Israel. He's doing all this crazy work. And his father-in-law of all people, thank God he had the humility to listen to his father-in-law. His father-in-law has to come in. This dude was raised under rulers. This dude was an adopted son of Pharaoh. This dude should have known how to do it. And to be quite honest, there's things he obviously didn't pay attention to when he could have. And Jethro says, what you're doing is not good. Write it in the comments, put it on your heart. What you're doing is not good. You're doing too much. And he says, you need to raise up people who can take care of the tens and the hundreds and the thousands and the hundreds of thousands. You need to take care of yourself so that you can take care of them. That is so important. It's important that you understand the power of delegation. And I'm not talking about poop and swoop, which is do this and I'm leaving. No, there's the values to this. And so we live in a grind culture. If you study Japan right now, they are at a deficit. They have no idea how the society is going to exist in the next 30 years because people have been working so hard. They've literally been killing themselves by working themselves to death. It's a true story. You can actually look it up. Japanese men have been working so hard. They have not been having sex and having children, so there's no multiplication, and there's not a next generation in equivalency to run or to handle the taxes and the governmental things. And they're questioning, how are we going to exist in the next 20, 30, 40 years? There's no kids. Everybody's working so hard for money, for the grind, and they're dying young because they've worked themselves way too hard. The Bible is very clear about all this, about rest, about family, about marriage, about community, about the church. And I think it's amazing that the problems that we're seeing as a worldwide issue are all answered in the Bible and through God's creation. So in this grind culture, you might have developed this idea that burning your wick at both ends is strength and great leadership, but it's not. It's actually self-deception. It is the opposite of God's rhythm, and God's rhythm is rest, not restlessness. So anyway, that being said, I got way more to give you, but we are at 27 minutes. Maybe I'll give you this last little bit, okay? Because we got to go. You got to ask yourself, if I got to slow down, if I got to change, how am I going to lead without burning out? So number one, you got to delegate with purpose. Don't just delegate every little thing. No, I'm doing this. I'm going to do my podcast. I'm going to write my book. I'm going to preach. I'm going to meet with my team. I'm going to cast vision. I'm going to work with this. I'm going to correct that. I'm going to handle, but no. I can't wait until I'm drowning before I start delegating. That's a big problem. That is the time. Like I remember seeing a boat sinking and the water was getting in the boat and people were just laughing. They were playing in the water. And then all of a sudden the bow or whatever the bow of the boat started to go under. And that's when they started pouring water out with a bucket. And I'm thinking, guys, what were you doing when the water was up to your knees that you would wait this long before you realize you're going under? My friends, I want you to understand this. It is not God's will for any to perish, but for everybody to come to everlasting life. But Jesus never asked us to kill ourselves for him. He asked us to be willing to lay our lives down. Start delegating with purpose. Don't wait until you're drowning. Start training people. Start trusting people. Start building people up. Start giving people the opportunity to learn what you know. I don't care if this is the classroom. Hey kids, we're going to put all the desks away. Hey, who wants to help me clean the chalkboard? Teachers, this is something you can do. Who wants to help me sweep the room? Why? Because these kids are going to have to learn how to sweep their house one day, and they like you because they love you as their leader, as their teacher. This can happen in every environment. You can be teaching people how to succeed. Now, let's be honest, in the grind culture, a lot of leaders don't want to teach you their skills because they're afraid you might take their job. But the reality is if you're a great leader, nobody will ever take your job because it doesn't matter what you know. It matters when you know how to do it. And so as a great leader, you want to do that. Remember, delegation is about development, not dumping. The delegation, hey, will you do this with me? Hey, would you like to walk here with me? Hey, would you like to see this? Number two, set boundaries that stick. So my wife and I, when we go on meetings and dates anymore with others, we used to be out till 11 o'clock because that was when those people were free. The problem is when we would meet with people, we would be with 5 different people in a week or two, and every one of them had their one night where they finally could be out till late, and everybody wanted us to be out late with them. So everybody else is getting one late night a week. We realized we were getting 4 and 5, and we were losing our vigor. We were losing our strength. And so now we realize that's a boundary that needs to stick. So my wife and I, this is a very late podcast. I never do them this late, but my wife and I have decided, hey, if we go on dates with people, we have a time we need to be home because we want to come home and rest and be healthy for one another. And I hope that you would consider that. Don't get on your phone after X amount of time. Turn off the TV, sit down with your kids before they go to bed, an hour or half hour, spend time with them. These are some boundaries, and I can't set your boundaries, but you can. Block time out every day of your life for prayer, for reading the word, for family. 777. We have our Marriage Monday stuff. We talk about that all the time. Number 3, build true leadership rhythms. So weekly, what needs to get out of my life? What am I doing that I shouldn't be doing? What am I not doing that I should be doing? Monthly, what can I automate in my life? How can I get automation in this? Is there someone I need to hire? Is there someone I need to train up? What do I need to stop doing? What do I need to offload? And then annually, where is God directing me and my energy and my time, my treasure, my tithe, and my talent? And the reality is, when we think like this, we think, I'm not the hero. And this is the end all of end all for this podcast. This is where I wanted to go. I fit it in 4 minutes. So that's awesome. I want you to think about this. You have to stop thinking you're the hero. It's not about you being the hero. It's about being a good steward of what God has given you. Leadership is not about being everything to everybody. Now, I become all things to all men. By doing so, I can win them, but I can't do that all day, every day to every person. It's about being healthy enough to give the best part of you, the part of you that matters the most. And at the end of the day, when you're about to breathe your last breath, people aren't going to sit there and think about all the stuff that you constantly were able to do. They're going to go, I just wish I had more time with you. And healthy leadership gives you more time, gives you more influence, and it gives you healthier impact in people's lives. That being said, guys, I am tired and this has been a long day, but my promise to myself and to you is that I'm going to try to put a podcast out every Wednesday. And here it is. I hope you're blessed by it. I hope you're encouraged by it. I look forward to going back in the comments and checking and reading you guys' statements and thoughts. I hope there's nothing really mean in there. Like and subscribe. Follow me on Spotify and all our platforms, YouTube, and then check out my new assessment books that I'm putting out to hopefully help you grow in your walk with God. That being said, guys, love you. Change your world this week. And I hope that you were truly blessed by today's episode. And wait, I got to pray my outro. There it goes.
You are listening to the Life, Hope, and Leadership Podcast with Nick Chybrzynski, a transparent, honest, and encouraging podcast to equip you through real life experiences.